On October 30, 1974, a truly unique event took place for many reasons. The world heavyweight champion, 25-year-old George Foreman, was making the fourth defense of his WBA and WBC titles against former world champion, 32-year-old Muhammad Ali. In 1968, Foreman went to the Olympic Games in Mexico City with an amateur record of 16 wins and 4 losses, and left the tournament with a gold medal. In just 3.5 years as a professional, Big George earned mandatory challenger status and, with a record of 37-0 and 34 knockouts, stepped into the ring against Joe Frazier, the man who had handed Muhammad Ali the first loss of his career 2 years earlier. Foreman literally destroyed the reigning champion in less than 6 minutes. As for the challenger, Muhammad Ali did not waste any time after his loss to Frazier and began his road back to the top. He scored 10 victories in 2 years but suffered a surprise defeat to Ken Norton in March 1973. Ali then avenged his loss to Norton and later defeated Frazier as well, who by that time had already lost his titles to Foreman. This earned Ali the status of mandatory contender. The promoter of the fight was Don King, who promised both boxers $5 million each. However, King did not actually have that kind of money. His search for solutions around the world eventually led him to the African continent, to Kinshasa, the capital of Zaire, a country known today as the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The fight was originally scheduled for September 24, but due to a cut Foreman suffered during training, the event was postponed to October 30. To satisfy the interests of the American audience, the bout began at 4 a.m. local time. At the moment he faced Ali, Foreman was riding a streak of 24 consecutive knockouts. Ali began the first round exactly the way one should against an opponent who not only wants to, but is fully capable of making you his 25th straight knockout victim. Ali kept moving, launched sudden attacks, and whenever he found himself in danger, he clinched and grabbed Foreman around the neck. In the second round, to the surprise of his trainer Angelo Dundee, Ali stopped dancing around Foreman, planted his feet firmly, and spent a great deal of time on the ropes, putting himself in a far from ideal position. Ali responded periodically, not very often, but with great precision. In the third round, even if Ali moved away from the ropes on one side of the ring, he quickly found himself on the other. Big George barely attacked the head, and even when he did, he rarely landed. However, he threw plenty of heavy body shots. Ali was still throwing very few punches, but when he did, they were accurate, and he may have even stolen the round by launching 2 good attacks toward the end. After the first quarter of the fight, Joe Frazier, who was working as part of the commentary team, noted that Foreman was rushing too much and needed to stop pushing himself so hard, otherwise that haste could have a negative effect later on. At the same time, Angelo Dundee was literally shouting at Muhammad Ali not to stand on the ropes. "When you stand on the ropes, it makes me sick," Dundee said in an elevated tone. Ali waved off his trainer and replied, "I know what I'm doing." By the 5th round, Foreman already looked exhausted, but instead of taking control of the fight, Ali continued to use the tactic known as the rope-a-dope. He stood on the ropes, leaning far back against them, neutralizing Foreman's attacks to the head. For most of the time, Ali remained passive, allowing his opponent to attack, and even in moments when Foreman was clearly tiring, Ali continued to provoke him into throwing punches, as happened in the 5th round. Ali was waiting until his opponent had no strength left, and only then did he move into counterattack. Before the fight, Ali constantly taunted Big George. Moreover, he managed to turn the local crowd against Foreman, and during the bout they were chanting, "Ali, Bome," which meant, "Ali, kill him." The psychological attack on his opponent was paying off inside the ring. Foreman relied too heavily on his punching power, giving little thought to defense. He attacked furiously, but did so recklessly, wasting enormous amounts of energy. By the 7th round, Big George's attacks had become rare and sluggish, his punches slow, and even Ali's jabs were affecting him like power shots. Before the start of the 8th round, Joe Frazier said, "From what I'm seeing, George definitely won't make it to the end." In the 8th round, Muhammad Ali threw several precise punches but then again moved back to the ropes. Foreman tried to do something, but he no longer belonged to himself. He was in the power of a man who had proclaimed himself the greatest and then proved it in the ring. If the rope-a-dope tactic is described in simpler terms, considering the wordplay in English, you could say it meant to fool or to bamboozle. When, after the fight, Foreman was asked about the tactic Ali had used, George replied, "Today, I was a fool." At that moment, Muhammad Ali became only the second boxer in history, after Floyd Patterson, to regain the World Heavyweight Championship.